All right, my name is Reno McCormick. Today we'll be doing the triple LC driving in my personal vehicle. I'm looking to become an instructor with Cross Country Freight Solutions in Eagan, Minnesota. All right, I believe our GoPro is all set up. Get buckled up and take off here. All right. Get our vehicle in drive, get our blinker on, checking my mirrors. Okay, right away here, I'll be keeping an eye out on these vehicles on the side of the road. You know, whether they pull out or somebody opens a door without checking their mirror. You know, people are always in a hurry. So here we're at a stop sign. I've got my right hand turn signal on. I'm looking left, I'm entering the lane, and I'm looking left again. All right, now as we start to accelerate here, I'm gonna keep an eye on my speed. We do have businesses over here, so I'm also looking around, keeping an eye out on vehicles and what they might be doing. Coming up to an intersection here, we're gonna take a right-hand turn. I'm signaling ahead of time. I'm coming to a complete stop, and I'm also leaving a little room between myself and the driving lane in case somebody comes walking on this sidewalk. Always wanna keep an eye out on pedestrians, whether they're walking, running, bicycle, you name it. All right, we're gonna be entering this lane here. And continuing to look around, looking out for vehicles that might be entering the road here. All right, we got a red light coming up. I'm lightly braking. And as we come up to this intersection, I'm gonna be stopping before the crosswalk. And looks like this time we do have a pedestrian that is gonna be crossing. So I do not want to be sitting on the crosswalk and making them go around us. Now, if I didn't mention it before, the triple LC, today I'll be looking to look ahead, look around, leave room between myself and the vehicles in front of me and beside me, and also communicating. All right, looks like the vehicles beside us are getting a green light to turn left. So it most likely means that we're gonna get a green light to go straight here shortly. So I'm keeping an eye out on that. All right, we're entering the intersection here. Continuing to look left, to look right. And we are still in an area that is residential and also has businesses. So keeping an eye out on pedestrians as well. Now, I'm also checking my mirrors every 5 to 8 seconds. And trying to look around every 2 to 3 seconds. Keeping an eye out on vehicles that might be entering my lane here. Looks like this traffic signal up here has been green for a little while. And that vehicle ahead of us was looking to take a left. We want to keep an eye on them. And covering the brake just in case they do decide to turn late, or if somebody turns into our lane late. All right, maintaining a safe speed. Keeping an eye out on speed limit signs. Looks like 35 here on this section of road. Continuing to look around. A lot of residential up here. People are in a hurry, got places to be. make sure that we're always ready to brake and come to a safe stop or safely slow down in case somebody pulls out in front of us. Alright, continuing to maintain a safe speed here. Looks like we might have a mailman up here, just keeping an eye out on them. And we're coming up to an intersection here. Alright, lightly braking. Continuing to look around. And coming to a slow stop. Alright, we'll be accelerating here, keeping an eye out on the crosswalk and on the 2 lanes going east and west here. Alright, busy intersection here, looking around, keeping an eye out for pedestrians, continuing to check my mirrors every 5 to 8 seconds, getting ready to brake. Alright, we're going to take a right onto the interstate here. I'm blinking, leaving 3 to 5 blinks to communicate to others that I will be turning. Alright, we have a yield sign here. We can get our left-hand turn signal on and keeping an eye on my mirrors as well as checking my blind spot behind me. Alright, construction zone here. Looks like we also have a merge sign. We'll be getting our left-hand turn signal on ahead of time. And speeding up here. Get in behind this dump truck, checking my mirrors, checking my blind spot, making sure that I'm not merging into this lane at the same time that somebody else is merging into this lane. Alright, this is also a construction zone, so we want to keep an eye out for construction workers that might be crossing, or dump trucks as well are also running in and out of construction zones quite frequently. Keep a safe following distance here. Typically 3 seconds in a personal vehicle and a minimum of 6 seconds in a truck and trailer. Alright, we're going to merge to the left here, speed up a little bit, keeping an eye out on my mirrors, checking my blind spot, and making sure that I leave that signal on until I get completely in this lane. Alright, I'll be planning on exiting the interstate here soon. I'll get in the right lane here, but I do want to get around or get past these construction workers here first. Alright, we're going to get our blinker on, give that turn signal 3 to 5 blinks, and looking ahead, looks like we have traffic slowing down ahead of us. Alright, start slowing down here. Another thing with construction zones is you can come to sudden stops fairly quickly, so we're trying to keep our eyes about 15 seconds ahead of us on the road here. Keep my eyes in the top half of my windshield is a good rule of thumb. We're accelerating here, keeping an eye on my mirrors, keeping an eye on vehicles around me, and we're going to head north here, so let's get our turn signal on and merge into this lane here. Keep an eye on my mirror and also my blind spots. Alright, let's keep this signal on here as we get turning north. I'm going to slow down taking this exit here. Now we know up here that this will be an on-ramp to get onto the interstate. So we'll keep an eye out on if this is a merge lane. It looks like it isn't. It looks like we have our own lane here. Alright. And it looks like we'll have an on-ramp here as well for other vehicles that are going to be trying to get onto the interstate. Keeping an eye on this straight truck up here, keep an eye on their speed. I don't want to be coming up on them too quickly. Your vehicles that are merging onto the interstate are speeding up and attempting to get up to speed. So if we see them going a little too slow, maybe we can merge into the lane to the left of us, but looks like we can just stay steady in this lane here for now. All right, I'm gonna exit the interstate here. Let's get our turn signal on. I'm still checking my mirrors, making sure somebody in their vehicle or an emergency vehicle isn't riding the shoulder to exit here. Okay, we're gonna take a right here, get our signal on. Coming up to the intersection, I'm gonna wanna stop before the crosswalk markings. Again, I wanna make sure that pedestrians can safely cross without having to go around us. And as we enter here, I'm looking left multiple times, keeping an eye out for vehicles. And this is a right-hand turn lane, so I'll get our blinker on. Keeping an eye on my mirrors, checking multiple times. And right here, it looks like we're driving through residential. So with residential, again, want to keep an eye out for pedestrians, you know, children especially, who may not be looking before running across the road or riding bicycles, what have you. People in a hurry to get to work, pulling out of their driveways, backing out of them. Looks like we have an intersection coming up here, stale green. I'll be ready to brake. Looks like we're all right. Okay, keep an eye out on our speed here as we go through this residential zone. Looks like we're good, 25 miles per hour. All right, we got crosswalk here again, not flashing, but we still want to keep an eye out. All right, looks like we got a school zone, reduce speed. Okay, so we'll reduce our speed here, keep an eye out for kids that might be in the area. This traffic signal here, keeping an eye out for the crosswalk and vehicles that might be entering. Okay, 15-mile-an-hour roundabout up here, so we're gonna start slowing down from 25. Try to get down to 15 before we enter the roundabout. Now we've got a crosswalk going in here and a roundabout. Also always yields, so we'll be yielding to any vehicle that might be entering. I'm looking through the roundabout, keeping an eye out on vehicles that might be entering the roadway here. Alright, we're going to take a left-hand turn up here. I'm going to get my turn signal on and try to maintain a slow speed as we're entering the intersection. Okay, we have a green arrow. Keeping an eye out on vehicles that are going to be taking their right-hand turns here as we're taking our left-hand turn onto the same road going the same direction. Coming up on a red light. Keeping an eye out on these vehicles beside me here. Don't know if they might last minute decide to hop in my lane or try to get over to the one next to me to make a left-hand turn. And as we're stopped here, we're also leaving room for the crosswalk here in case any pedestrians need to cross. So it looks like the oncoming traffic are coming our direction as well as taking a left. So we're most likely gonna have a green light coming up here. Oh, there we go. All right. Keeping my hands on the steering wheel. 2 and 10 is the rule. Coming up on an intersection here. Looking left, looking right, making sure nobody's entering late. Coming up on a red light here. And lightly braking. Take off. Continuing to maintain a safe following distance between us and the vehicle in front of us. And even when we're stopped, leaving a good distance between us and the vehicle in front of us. Last thing we need is for somebody to come flying behind us, rear end us, and next thing you know, my vehicle has been rear-ended and I've also been pushed into the vehicle in front of me. Okay. Let's get into the right-hand turn lane here. I'm gonna signal ahead of time, making sure that I communicate to the vehicle behind me as we enter this lane here. Okay, we're going straight through here, keeping an eye out on the vehicles next to me. It looked like they're all in left-hand turn lanes, so we want to make sure that if one of them decides that they want to go straight and they want to cut into my lane, we're keeping an eye out for them. Alright, we're going through residential here. This little car on the right hand side, keeping an eye out for them. Again, if they don't check their mirror before exiting their vehicle, that door might swing open and we have to be ready to brake for them. Going through residential here, keeping an eye on our speed limit. Mirrors every 5 to 8 seconds. And continuing to keep our eyes in the top half of our windshield, making sure we're ready for anything that happens ahead of us. Again, looking ahead, keeping room between myself and the vehicle in front of me, looking around for vehicles and pedestrians. Alright, we're going to take a right-hand turn here. I'm going to get my turn signal on. Keeping an eye out for other vehicles. And slowly turning into this lane here. As I was saying before, looking ahead, looking around, leaving room, and making sure that I communicate typically with my blinker, but you know, also eye contact with pedestrians if they're crossing the street, eye contact with other vehicles that might be coming your direction. All right, we have a stop sign here. I'm gonna start slowly stopping here. It's an all-way stop, still looking left, looking right, and making sure no vehicles miss that stop sign and come flying into that intersection. And if they do, we're hovering the brake and making sure that we stay safe in that way. Alright, keeping an eye on my speed here. 25 through a residential zone. Looks like we had a stop sign ahead sign, and down the hill here is the stop sign. Alright, we're going to take a right-hand turn, get my blinker on, and come to a complete stop. I don't have a whole lot of visibility around this corner here due to this embankment, so I'm going to slowly creep ahead and keeping an eye out for oncoming traffic as I'm looking left, and also pedestrians that might come on my right this direction. Alright, we're going to start turning here. Looking ahead, looking around, checking my mirrors, keeping an eye on my speed. This light up here is green, but it looks like the crosswalk is lit up going north and south, so that light is gonna stay green. Now typically, if that crosswalk is counting down and it's towards a little bit closer to zero as it's counting down, excuse me, typically that light will turn yellow, and that's when we'll be looking to hover our brake and get ready to stop. Alright, we're slowing down here, leaving room between the vehicle in front of us and ourselves. Alright, we're gonna have to get into this right-hand lane here so we can go straight through here. keeping an eye out for vehicles that might be pulling in front of us, trying to get onto this road. Again, traffic cones here. It's coming up on summertime, so we're gonna have to keep an eye out for construction workers, as well as merging into lanes that you normally wouldn't. Alright, there's a crosswalk up here, no pedestrians. Keep an eye on this red vehicle beside me here. Looking ahead, looking around, checking my mirrors. Again, looking around every 2 to 3 seconds. And mirrors every 5 to 8. Now I'm looking through this turn here to keep an eye out on what might be going on ahead of here. Okay. And coming to a stop for this intersection. Leaving room between myself and the vehicle in front of me. Even when I'm stopped, checking my mirrors every now and then. This will typically be for emergency vehicles, in case we need to create room for them. Kind of keeping an eye out on what this intersection will be doing, when it might be changing, making sure we're not distracted. Okay, yep, here's our green light here. Alright, still looking left and looking right through the intersection. Even though we have the green light, you don't know when somebody might miss their light and accidentally enter the intersection. Okay, as we accelerate here out of that intersection, we're going to start leaving approximately 3 seconds of following distance minimum between ourselves and the vehicle in front of us. Alright, keeping an eye on this black vehicle up here. And being that we're in the rightmost lane here, I also want to be, again, leaving that safe following distance, because if somebody decides at last minute that they want to take a right-hand turn, then they're going to be getting on their brakes quite quickly. Okay, we're going to take a right-hand turn up here. And getting on our brakes, making sure we're signaling. And stopping before the crosswalk here. Red light. Safely turning, taking our time. There's another roundabout, and this time we're going to go into this grocery shopping area. Again, roundabout, we have a yield to the vehicles to the left of us, and we're looking through the roundabout, slowing down for these vehicles here that are getting their Saturday afternoon shopping done. Alright, busy day at the grocery store. So in areas like school zones, around grocery stores, shopping centers. Alright, I hear a police siren or an ambulance. Want to make sure they're safe to pass if they're coming behind me. Alright, we got a stop sign here, plenty of pedestrians. And we also have a Metro Mobility bus in front of us with their hazards on parked. Okay, so we're gonna have to get around them as we're going through here. Let's get our blinker on here. And we're gonna make our way around them safely, slowly. Again, looking around big time, keeping an eye out for pedestrians and vehicles that are in a hurry to get home and cook their Saturday afternoon lunch. Alright, Coming up on a stop sign here again. Really taking my time through here. Keep an eye on this vehicle. It's pulling out in front of us. And here's another stop sign. Again, looking around and really keeping an eye out behind these blind spots that we got. We have a gentleman here. Keep an eye out on him. Mail truck on the right-hand side. They're always moving quickly, working hard. And we're gonna take a left-hand turn here, get my signal on, and make sure we stop for at least 3 seconds for this stop sign. All right, we're rocking and rolling. Looking left, looking right, looking left again. Plan on taking another left-hand turn up here. I'm gonna get my turn signal on ahead of time and keeping an eye out in this intersection, looking through our turn. And covering our brakes here. Allowing safe following distance. Keeping an eye out in the intersection. Keeping an eye out on my speed. Okay, I see a crosswalk counting down 2, 1. All right, so that traffic signal still continued to be green. Again, a lot of times they will turn yellow as they're counting down to 0. Stay in this lane here. Looking around, keep an eye out for vehicles that might be entering the road in a hurry here. Hovering my brake as we go through this intersection. And again, a lot of business around here, people shopping. Busy Saturday afternoon. Keeping an eye on this vehicle that's taking a left here. That would have been crossing my road, so I want to make sure that they could see around that vehicle there. Got more crosswalks. Keeping an eye out here for bicycles or people walking or running across the street. Keeping an eye out on my speed, checking my mirrors, 5 to 8 seconds. And we're gonna want to get into the right-hand turn lane, or excuse me, right-hand lane here. Signaling ahead of time. And we got a traffic signal that is changing. A safe stop here and leaving a little bit of room between myself and the vehicle in front of me. And you know what? I think we'll get on the interstate one more time. So we'll get that blinker on. Keeping an eye out on this crosswalk next to me in this sidewalk, making sure nobody comes flying to my right. Alright, so we're going to be merging here. I'm going to get my turn signal on ahead of time and checking my mirror ahead of time as well, and trying to get up to speed with the traffic on the highway here. Alright, we'll be merging to our left, keeping an eye out on our mirrors and the vehicle next to us, making sure we're checking our blind spots, getting up to speed on the interstate here, keeping an eye out, making sure we're not speeding, checking our mirrors, looking ahead, trying to keep about 15 seconds of sight in front of me. And now that we're traveling at a higher speed, also leaving more room in front of, between me and the vehicle in front of me if we can. Alright, we're gonna head south on this interstate here, get my blinker on, checking my mirrors, and slowly merging, keeping the blinker on as we merge. And looks like this off-ramp is 30 mile per hour, so we're gonna start slowing down here, matching the speed limit. And we might be merging here as well, so I'm looking ahead. And it looks like that lane would have been merging into our lane, so we want to keep an eye out for that. And these vehicles might be merging into my lane as well to take this exit. I'm going to be taking this exit as well, so I'll get my blinker on. And again, as they were merging into this lane, I'm keeping an eye on my mirrors and what they might be doing, keeping an eye out on their blinkers and making sure we're all communicating with each other. Okay, I'm gonna turn here, get my blinker on. And I know this area a little well, and this is a busy crosswalk here. So I want to take a right here. Looks like we have some pedestrians on bicycles coming up here. As I was saying, it's a busier area, Saturday afternoon, and we want to leave plenty of room for them to cross this road here. Okay, now we can start taking our right. We're looking left multiple times and making sure there are no vehicles that are coming up in this lane too quickly. Still residential here, keeping an eye on my speed, plenty of crosswalks, keeping an eye out for pedestrians, checking my mirrors. And again, checking my speed here, making sure we're not going too quick through here. I'm starting to slow down, got a red light coming up here.